Is Royal Caribbean a really great value, or is it just slick marketing from them? Today we're going to break it down. My name is Josh.
And my name is Taylor.
Welcome back to another podcast episode for cruising. So we just
and fly.
Yes. Good use of that.
Okay.
We just came off the Disney Dream. I kind of wanted to wait for us to talk about that later, maybe once we get a little bit closer into doing some of the vlog videos. But of course, we don't have to. We could do that whenever. But I was just kind of thinking about our experience on Disney and the price that it costs to go on Disney, the things that are included with Disney. And it really started to make me think about the value that Royal Caribbean offers.
Well, I'm just thinking that, it's going to vary from ship to ship and itinerary to itinerary and length of cruise to length of cruise. I feel like you can't say necessarily that one's a better value than the other because there's so many factors that go into it. But I can see why there are a lot of people that think that they prefer Royal Caribbean over maybe some other cruise lines.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we'll break that down. So, just some background information. If you're watching or listening for the very first time, Taylor and I have been on 27 cruises, I think, now.
Do we need to redo the intro?
We will need to redo our intro soon. Yeah. So we've been on quite a few. And that has included multiple different cruise lines and multiple different ships and all different types of itineraries. So we do have kind of a foundation of what goes into a cruise and the value behind the money that you're spending for that cruise itself. And I think something that's really important for us to mention, and actually you were just saying this essentially, is that, value is not necessarily also cheap.
No.
Value.
When I think of value, okay, sometimes people hear the word value and people that are Disney fans, they're like, oh, value resorts, those are going to be like the cheapest options.
Right.
But when I think of the word value, which is something that we talk about a lot because it also kind of goes along with your experience. Now you're looking at that and you're stressing me out.
Sorry, no, you're good. You're right.
Value is more of what you are getting out of that trip. Right. Value to me doesn't equal the cheapest option. Value means what all am I getting for what I'm paying?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there is a lot that comes into cruising. And I mean, we talk about this all the time on this podcast, which is that a cruise for the most part is all inclusive. Mm-hmm. You could argue that there are ways to make it more all inclusive than what it is whenever you pay.
Well, people will argue and say it's not all inclusive. They're going to nickel and dime you. But you can make it as all-inclusive for yourself as possible before you get on the ship.
Exactly.
That's value to me.
And that's the thing, cruises include so much: food, entertainment, activities. And what varies really between the cruise lines, and this is where I personally think that Royal Caribbean offers the most value for the most people compared to other cruise lines, is that they have the most stuff included for the price that you're paying, essentially.
Yes. Activity-wise, food-wise.
Right.
Not necessarily drink-wise, but if you do get that drink package, then there is the most included of all the cruise lines.
Exactly.
Prepay, and then it's included. Then it's free when you get there.
Right.
Girl math.
And so there's a lot to think about. Disney has their 3 main dining room restaurants. Those are all included. They're great value. The food is really good. They have 2 specialty restaurants that you can go to. Norwegian has, depending on the ship that you're on, may have multiple dining rooms. They will have multiple different adult only, or sorry, not adult only, but
specialty restaurants.
Specialty restaurants that you can go to. In addition to some that are now what we would consider more of like a not quick service. What's the word I'm looking for? They're not really a specialty restaurant, but you have to pay like a small
casual dining
experience that does still have a cover charge. Usually it's like $15 or something. But when I think of Norwegian, I think that a lot of their activities that they have aren't included. A lot of those activities, especially on the newer ships, you have to pay extra for. I was live streaming the other day and they were talking about Carnival. We've never done Carnival, but I do know that Carnival is kind of the same way, where they do charge extra for a lot of their activities, especially on the ship. So Royal Caribbean as a whole tends to be the one that doesn't really charge you that much, if anything at all, to do a lot of those extra activities.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not sure how deep you want me to dive in here.
I mean, go ahead. If you have something you'd like to say, go ahead. Absolutely. I'll cut you off if I.
Oh, I know you will, because that's what you do whenever you're gonna talk about something later. You'll cut me off because I know that you're already thinking I'm gonna talk about this later on. But I have been looking a lot at Royal Caribbean and Norwegian sailings recently for some clients. Just not always because that's just what I'm recommending, but that's because what they have come to me for. And those are like some of the most popular cruise lines that people look at whenever they think about cruising. And with Royal Caribbean, something that not just families, but also adults really enjoy is that there is a lot included. And the things being included that I think Josh is mostly talking about would be like, obviously the Broadway style shows, but then also like the rock wall, the water slides. Royal Caribbean, I don't think has any roller coasters on any of their ships.
Not yet, but let's not bring that to fruition.
Don't worry, they probably will on one of those giant ships. They're giant dry slides that they have.
Well, let me cut you off.
See, because
hold on. Fine.
You gave me like a close-ended statement, and so I didn't know where you wanted me to go from there. So that's why I just started talking, and I knew that's why I wasn't saying anything at first, because I knew you were going to shut me down.
So I think I want to try to do this a little bit backwards, in the sense that I actually want to talk about the value of things that we do have to pay extra for on Royal Caribbean. Okay. Before we talk about the things that are actually included.
So like the drink package.
So I think the drink package is a great place to start.
And I think that's really an important thing for a lot of people.
And let me say this too, real quick, is that the drink package is standard across all the ships.
Yes.
The price potentially could vary from sailing to sailing, I guess you could say. But
yeah. Because it's all about how long the cruise is.
It's kind of funny because like Norwegian, right? If you're on the Pride of America, which we'll be on in November, their drink package is not the same as it is with the rest of the Norwegian cruise.
But all the rest of the Norwegian fleet is the same. Yes. It's just Pride of America.
Right.
That's a whole other thing. We'll get into Pride of America stuff later on because we will be sailing on Pride of America.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to talk about that. I'm just saying that.
But anyway,
across the board,
Royal Caribbean
packages are the same.
Yes, no matter what ship you go on in the Royal Caribbean fleet, no matter what itinerary you go on, your drink package is the same. And when we're talking about drink package, there's a few options for that. You can either go all out. And this is basically adults 21 plus. You can go all out and get the deluxe beverage package, which includes everything on the ship. Maybe not necessarily all of the top shelf stuff that's like, $60 for a 2-ounce pour. That's not going to be included. But everything else that you would want for like cocktails or whiskey or beer or wine, all those sorts of things are included. It also includes smoothies. It includes juices.
And the other thing I always want to cut you off here real quick is just to mention that I think
Josh should just do this episode by himself.
No, I'm just adding to the context in which, and especially for us, right? So we're specifically talking about us, but also I think some of the clients that Taylor works with and some of the people that we talk with from group cruises and stuff. One of the biggest comparisons of the drink package that we think of when looking at it at other cruises or cruise lines, specifically for Taylor, is that espresso martinis are included on that drink package.
I was getting there. You shut me down before I even had a chance,
you were talking about the alcohol and then you kind of moved off of it. So
no, I didn't.
But,
because I was going to mention how Red Bull is also included.
Oh, well, there you go.
And I was going to say specialty coffees and then get to the espresso, but I didn't have that chance.
You're right.
I got cut off.
You certainly did.
Yep, I sure did.
Yeah, but, the espresso martini is something that I never get, but you always like to get. And it's always funny when we do go into another cruise line with a drink package and how disappointed you are when they're not included
on Princess, too.
They are, aren't they?
Yes.
They are.
But anyway, just about Royal Caribbean. The really nice thing about their deluxe beverage package is that espresso martinis are included. It's basically all cocktails, wine, beer that's $15 and under.
Right.
Espresso martinis are included. Specialty coffees are included, not from the official Starbucks, but from their cafes that serve Starbucks. And then Red Bull and bottled water, which is like not necessarily that you need to have bottled water, but like sometimes it is nice to just have a bottle of water in your room, like go to the bar right before you go back to your room. And I grab 2 bottles of water, put them in the fridge, and then if you need a bottle of water in the middle of the night or first thing when you get up in the morning, it's just really nice to have.
I think it's super underrated also having water. You know, a lot of people say that like for whatever reason Europeans don't seem to drink a lot of water, and us Americans have this weird you know,
this thing is always full of water.
So it's nice to have that bottle of water at nighttime or to take it off the ship, and it's included with your drink package.
Yep.
So it is great to have.
Yes, it is. And then they also, if you don't drink alcohol, you can, but you want to have like mocktails or smoothies or milkshakes or whatever, then you can get the, what do they call it?
You mean the package below?
Yeah.
Package,
oh my gosh, it's literally just slipping my mind right now. Refreshment package. Refreshment package literally includes everything except for alcohol.
Right.
So same things, the specialty coffees, the Red Bull, the energy drinks, it's Red Bull on there. Yeah. The bottled water, all of that. Or if you want to go super simple and you just want fountain soda throughout your cruise, you can get the Coca-Cola package, which is you get your refillable mug, which is included on all the packages, but it's the cheapest. So if you just want to make sure you have soda, it's like, I think the last one I booked, it was like $9 or $9.99 per person per day.
Yeah, it's around there.
So sometimes it's a little bit more than that, but wait till it's a holiday and get it on sale.
I mean, like, and even that's not a bad price. I mean, when you think for soda, they have the freestyle machines.
Yep.
You know, if you want Coke Zero, like I drink all the time, you can certainly get that while you're there and
you can walk up to the bars, give them your card and say, I want a Coke on ice, and they'll give it to you. Same thing in the restaurants. You can order soda. It doesn't have to just be with your freestyle machine, but that's like the easiest way to get your sodas.
Right.
But I think that of most of the cruise lines we have done, Royal Caribbean has one of the best beverage packages if you go with like the refreshment or the deluxe beverage package.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it just makes I think certainly sometimes
it's very convenient.
It does. It adds a lot of convenience to that. I know that sometimes there ends up being the, you know, we take the price of the package and we divide it by how many days, and then we divide it by, you know,
$15.
$15, whatever, to figure out how many drinks we have to drink each day to like make it worth it per person. And I think that when you kind of overanalyze it, it maybe it doesn't seem like it's as great of value, but it certainly does come into convenience first and foremost,
because you don't have to worry about a receipt. You don't have to sign anything. You literally give them your card.
I just have to say this because I absolutely agree with Taylor when she says like the convenience of not getting the receipt.
I hate that. But I hate waiting for the freaking receipt.
But it's like the most ridiculous thing that we are that we are like, oh, I just hate waiting to get that receipt back. Like the convenience of not having to wait for that.
But when you're on a cruise, you want that convenience of and no hassle.
Right.
Not that it really is, but it's like a couple extra minutes that you have to stand there while they go ring it up. They bring you the receipt. You have to fill it out because you can't just sign it. You have to like write your room number and stuff on it. Yep. And then you have to make sure that they get it back and then you can go. So it's much more convenient when you just pay for the beverage package, hand them your card, they type in the drink, they tap your card, and then they give you your card and your drink and you're on your way.
Because the drink package also includes the gratuities for the drink package.
Yes. So
that's why there's no receipt.
If you don't get a beverage package, you don't have to, but they're kind of expecting you to give a tip, or I think it actually charges a gratuity, like an 18% gratuity on every beverage.
Right.
So then you don't even have to worry about that. Like,
but you still have to sign the piece of paper.
But you still have to sign the piece of paper every single time. Exactly. But just think about it. Like it includes your get a specialty coffee in the morning, even if it's a espresso or you know just a black coffee. Go to the cafe and get something a little extra. You know, have the bottled water throughout the day, and then just you know you don't have to have 15 drinks in one sitting, but like the day is long,
right?
Spread it out.
Yeah. The other thing is too is like don't think that you have to have 15 alcohol beverages. You know, that's like what Taylor said.
You can go get a milkshake. You can have a smoothie.
Exactly. the coffee. So, and I mean, it does help to add up after a while. I think it's definitely worth it. I think it's a good value. So speaking of packages and drinks, let's talk a little bit about dining packages on Royal Caribbean, because Royal Caribbean does also offer dining packages that you can take advantage of.
This is for all the specialty restaurants that
exactly.
are not included.
These
with
can
your cruise fare.
range from like I think it's like maybe 2 specialty restaurants
Well, you
to
can
3
do,
specialties.
I mean, you can do just one.
Well, no, not as a package though.
Not-
as a package to save you a little bit of money to get the value at it,
Sure.
or you could do unlimited, which they do offer as well. Which essentially, if you're going to do something like that, you absolutely need to be basically going to a specialty restaurant every single
day.
night. If even going to that at lunch, it brings back the horrible memories of, they weren't horrible memories, but it brings back the deluxe dining package at Disney.
Oh, that's not what it was called. It was called the deluxe dining plan.
Oh, the deluxe dining plan, where you had to get the actual value
breakfast,
of the money.
lunch, and dinner every single day, and then appetizer, entree, dessert at lunch and dinner.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure
But it
it
was sit
came
down.
the drink.
Yeah, sit down for every meal, essentially.
Yes, a table service was
Right.
included. So,
Yeah. And boy, was it a lot of food.
Yeah, it sure
oh my
was.
gosh, it was. So, but yeah, I mean, it's a good value. I think if you are, really worried, I guess, about what the food quality is going to be like in the main dining room, I mean, it's a good way to go. But for the most part, Royal Caribbean has really good food, I think.
Oh, I think they do.
Yeah.
In like their included restaurants.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've gone on Royal Caribbean cruises and not done any specialty restaurants.
Right.
And have had a perfectly fine time.
Yes.
Jamie's Italian will forever be my favorite specialty restaurant on
really
Royal
good.
Caribbean. It's the first specialty restaurant we ever did on a Royal Caribbean cruise. Don't get me wrong, Giovanni's is pretty good, but it is not as good as Jamie's Italian. That meat board that we got to start, and then we kind of wanted to try all the desserts, and they're like, let us just bring you them on a board. So we literally got to try every single dessert.
Yeah.
It was so good.
It was really good. So you kind of I think you just briefly mentioned this, but you can also get on a cruise, especially with Royal Caribbean, and we're talking about the value here, and not actually spend any extra money once you're
on board. You can prepay for that beverage package, which we highly recommend. If you want a beverage package, prepay for it.
Right.
Because there is no discount once you get on board.
Right.
Most of the time, like the highest you'll see pre-cruise is like $85 or $89 per person per day, which kind of sounds like a lot, but if you plan for that and the money you're saving for your vacation,
right,
pre-purchase that, and then you don't have to worry about it once you get on the ship. Because once you get on the ship, it's at least $100 per person per day. Because you don't.
Yeah, I think it's up there.
Yeah, you don't get a discount on it like you do pre-cruise. So
Right.
do like one of the pre-cruise sales if there's like a holiday or something, and get that beverage package pre-purchased. And then same thing with like specialty dining. If you do think you want to try some of the specialty restaurants on board and you don't want to pay for those once you get on the cruise, same thing. There will be extra discounts when they have sales.
Right.
So watch for those too, and then just prepay for them, because then you don't have to worry once you get on the ship. Same thing with your overall cruise prepaid gratuities. Do that before, so that way they don't have to charge it to your room at the end of the cruise.
Right.
Same price, whether you pay for it before or after, but essentially just like making it all inclusive.
It makes it feel.
Yes.
Yeah.
It feels free then.
Right.
Because
It
you've
certainly
already spent the money.
Yeah. So talking about I think like as we really so let's get away from the stuff that we pay for after, or that's not included in the base.
Oh, I'm allowed
fare.
to talk about the things that are included now.
Well, yes, of course you are.
I'm joking.
When it comes to that base price and the value of what you're getting on the ships specifically, what I love about Royal is that they really offer, I think, across any other brand, something that is absolutely there for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that ranges within their ships. We talked a little bit about this a couple episodes ago, I think, when we were talking about choosing the right ship. But Royal specifically has these really small ships that are a lot older, but they tend to offer something that's maybe a little bit more adult-like. Not that there's not kids' activities on there, but it's a very, it's a very strong contrast to, let's say, Utopia of the Seas or Wonder of the Seas or Icon, right? Where these huge, massive ships that have so many different activities, both for adults and kids alike. And that's really the innovation that they have done with their ships is what really adds to that value.
I want to go on Icon of the Seas.
I want to go on Icon of the Seas. Someday.
There's a good promotion going on right now.
Is there?
Yeah, maybe I'll check it.
Oh, check it out. Check it out.
We already have a placeholder deposit.
Aren't they only doing short sailings, though? Is Icon doing short?
Icon's 7-nighters.
7-nighters? Okay.
Yep.
Man, those less than 7-nighters are rough. Should never do
It might
those.
be Star of the Seas that's doing shorter ones when it comes out. I'm not 100% sure.
Right.
Anyway.
So I guess let's break into the activities that are included and let's go one by one. Let's not just start rambling them all off like, they got the water slide and they got the ice skating and then they got the entertainment. Like, Let's break it down one at a time here. Talking about the type of activities that they have.
Well, you just said it. One thing that I think is pretty unique that really not many other cruise lines have is ice skating that is included.
Right.
And I think that is like pretty awesome because who thought you could just get on a cruise ship and go ice skating?
I mean, absolutely. If you don't know, this kind of rolls into entertainment a little bit, but they have an ice skating rink because they do an ice skating show. Mm-hmm. So, which is also super unique. I can't confirm that Royal's the only one who has an ice rink, but
it's the only one we've done that has an ice skating rink.
It's the only one that we've done that has had an ice rink, ice skating show, and then you can ice skate on it as well. So, and yeah, it's really great. Now, the flip side of the coin, though, with a lot of these activities, is that you do need to make a reservation to do them. Most of the time, you can't do them until you get on the ship.
You have to, but
if you show up without one, you may not actually get to do it. And ice skating is one of those ones where it's highly recommended to make a reservation for it once you get on board.
But just know, some people book reservations for like everything and then don't show up. So
right.
Most of the time you can still get in to do something. You might just have to wait a little longer once you get there.
Yeah. And I always think it's really funny too, when I think about this now, when we were just in Europe over Christmas, essentially, and Tyler and I went to go do ice skating, we not only had to pay to enter the ice skating facility, we then also had to pay to rent our skates.
Yeah.
And what's really nice is that on Royal Caribbean, you don't have to do either of those things.
You just show up.
You just show up with your reservation. If you have children that are under the age of like 18, I think.
Yeah,
you have to sign a waiver for them. But other than that, you just go down, you tell them what your foot size is, and you go down. It's all timed. It's relatively organized, easy to do, and it's not a huge rink. So, you don't have to go super fast. And there does tend to be quite a few people out there, but it's fun.
Yeah.
Well,
and speaking of the ice skating rink, there's another activity that Royal Caribbean offers in the same space, and that is laser tag.
Oh, yes, it does. I actually forgot about that.
Yes, they cover the ice skating rink, and the laser tag takes place on the floor over top of the ice skating rink.
Yeah, we did that on
Symphony of the Seas. We did it with my sisters.
Oh, we did. That was the same cruise. We did all of that stuff. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, not an extra charge.
Nope. I think we booked, we saw it pop up on the app, and it's says you can just show up, but it recommends a reservation. So we did book a reservation just to make sure that we could get in. And we just showed up a couple minutes before our time, did a little safety briefing and how to play the game, and
divide us up into teams.
Yep. Got put on our teams, and then we went out there and we're screaming and hooting and hollering.
Pushed a bunch of kids to the ground.
And it was fun.
Yeah, I think about that, and then I think about Norwegian to do that on there. They have a dedicated space that's just for laser tag. It's an extra charge.
Not on all their ships, but some of them.
Yeah, that was on. I guess that was on the Epic. No, I'm sorry, that was Encore. Yes,
and it was an extra charge.
It was an extra charge. So that's cool. Laser tag, ice skating, some things I think that you probably don't necessarily think about when you get on a cruise itself of activities that you could take part in. But
yes. Royal Caribbean on a couple of their like larger ships has the rock walls, which are pretty big compared to like the one on like Independence of the
I mean,
Seas.
are they really? No, they are. They are.
They're pretty
No,
big.
The funny thing is, though, is that they never see them using both sides.
No, it's been probably since
our
our first cruise they were using both sides, and I haven't seen them
on Harmony.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen them do both sides. Only ever been one side. Might be a staffing thing, but it's a lot of fun. Again, they provide the harness for you. They provide the shoes for you. Doesn't cost you anything extra. You don't need a reservation. You just show up during the time.
The operating hours will be posted on the app.
Yes, and definitely just go and pay some of those guys a visit, because sometimes nobody shows up to do it. And,
they're just chilling.
I remember the one time we showed up
waiting,
and the poor guy was like sleeping there at the chair. It looked like he nodded off there for a second.
It's crazy because sometimes you get there and there's a long line, and then other times you go there and there's nobody doing the rock wall.
Nobody's there. So, what else? As far as let's consider this the physical activities.
Yes. So there's also I forget what it's called, the little trampoline thingy.
On some ships, not on all ships, right?
I wanted to call it like a moon bounce, but that's not what it is.
It's like we did that on Encore?
Independence of the Seas.
Independence of the Seas.
Encore is Norwegian.
I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. Really confused right now.
Wow.
Yeah, we did it on Independence, and it's like a VR. You wear a VR headset. You didn't do it for some reason. I don't know why.
I don't know.
You're too scared.
Whatever.
But it was kind of cool. I mean, it's definitely more for like the younger kids. As an adult, I mean, it was still okay to do, but don't be upset if you are an adult and you want to go up there and do it and there's a long line because it's full of kids. But it is fun. Yeah, it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Again, though, it's included. Doesn't cost you anything extra.
Yep. Another thing that is, I don't know if it's unique to Royal Caribbean, but you can also do their skydiving iFly.
Right.
Now, one thing about that is you have to check the times guides if there is an iFly on your ship, because there are only certain times of like when you can go and do it for free.
Right.
There are longer sessions that you can do and pay extra for.
Yeah.
But you can do it for free. You just got to double check the times guide, make sure that, you can go during the free times, and it'll tell you which ones are which. But you can go and try out skydiving.
Was that on Ovation? They had an iFly on Ovation?
Yep.
Well, speaking of that, as activities that are included, but then also you have to pay extra for, and Ovation, we also had the giant arm.
Oh, the North Star.
The North Star, right? On Ovation of the Seas.
Mm-hmm.
That was another one that was included during certain times, but then was an extra charge, I think, like in port?
No, I think
it's like
that was on sea
one or
days.
the other.
We did it on the port days.
Yeah.
And you could also do it like privately if you paid extra for it. You didn't have to go up with other people in there. Yeah. So we just did it on the port days whenever it was free, because it really is the same amount of time compared to when you pay to do it. And I mean, you're still getting a fantastic view. We were in Alaska whenever we did it.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
This is another one that I always think is just, I don't know. I don't want to say it's like super funny, but my dad has a really poor problem of letting me know when he's going to travel to do something to actually get any actual travel advice. They did a Royal Caribbean cruise, I think like 2 years ago now. And they wanted to do the flow rider. And he said I asked him, I was like, did you do the flow rider? Because it's a lot of fun. And he's like, no, we didn't want to pay for it. So it was an extra charge. You had to pay for it. And I told him, I'm like,
you do know your son works at a travel agency.
Right.
Hello.
I said, no, that's included. But they do have paid for private lessons.
Yes.
Or you could do like a group.
Yes, you can like pay for it.
Something.
Yeah, you can pay for it to just have it for your group.
Yeah. So it's another activity that is included. Like 90% of the time it's included.
Yeah. It's normally like evening and early morning is whenever they have like the private times that you pay extra for.
And if you really want to get even more, I know we're talking about free stuff, so I don't want to backtrack into things that are extra, but there is a little program that you can do before you get on the cruise that you can pay extra for. It's the key, essentially.
Oh, yes.
And the key will actually get you private times as well for some specific activities.
The key includes a bunch of other stuff.
But the Flow Rider is one of them. I always see there's, they'll have a
Flow Rider, the key.
Right.
Yeah.
On the the Oasis class ships where they have two wave Flow Riders, one side sometimes will be just for
the key
for a little bit, and then the other side's open for everybody, vice versa, so whatever. But yes, okay, so what else?
Zip lining on some of the bigger ships.
Zip lining, yes. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I've done it.
You have done it?
Yeah.
Are you
did
sure?
it on Harmony of the Seas.
Oh, you did. Okay. You need to do it again on another ship.
You got to take me on one of those ships.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
we're going on Utopia later this year. I forgot.
Yeah. So you can probably do it then.
Yeah.
So zip lining, again, another one that does not cost anything extra. They provide all of the equipment and gear for you to do that. What actually is kind of nice, thinking about some of the activities that are up there by the Flow Rider, is that usually when you go up there to do the waiver for the Flow Rider, you can do the waiver for everything. So, or like if you're going to do zip lining and not the Flow Rider right away, whatever, vice versa, usually you can do
the waiver anyway.
All at the same time.
Yeah.
So, on some of the ships, they also have the Abyss. Which
the ultimate abyss.
Which is a cool one.
It's a dry slide.
Some of our friends have been injured on said slide.
You really got to keep your elbows in on that one.
Yeah. But it is fun. It is a dry slide. Like Taylor said, you basically get into like a little sack and slide down. It goes pretty quick.
It's fun.
And let's see what other activities
Mini golf.
Mini golf. That's a big one across a lot of ships.
Very popular.
Norwegian now, you have to pay extra to do mini golf on some of their newer ships.
You do?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. On the Prima?
Did you really have to pay for that?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
Because it's so fancy now. It's the new fancy kind, It's not just a flat course.
I didn't know that.
You got all the moving parts.
Well, there's also near the mini golf I'm just thinking of like some of the bigger ships, but like there's mini golf. There's also like a basketball court where sometimes they'll have like
sports court.
Yeah, it's a sports court. They'll have like times where they're doing like basketball where there's like different games that you can play. Like they'll do like horse or whatever where like there's like a bunch of people playing.
Dodgeball. They'll do pickleball,
badminton.
Badminton?
Yeah, they do all kinds of stuff up there.
You've seen them do badminton before?
I've seen it on the list, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
Unless I'm crazy.
I've never seen that, but okay.
Whatever. What else have I seen up there? Oh, they got the ping pong tables.
Ping pong tables, yep. That's pretty standard across most ships.
Yep. Goodness, I'm thinking. Oh, the water slides.
Yeah, so water slides, yes.
Going out to the pool areas.
Yes, they're a little bit different on each ship. They're not all the same. No. Some of them have the toilet bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Toilet bowl that you can get into. Some of them don't have that. They just have, I don't want to say regular water slides, but,
yeah, the body slides.
Yeah, they're still fun. And they're good to do. Obviously, on a sea day, the lines are going to be a lot longer.
Yes.
On a port day, lines are going to be shorter. So plan accordingly if you'd like to really do those.
Yep.
What else we have? I'm sure we're probably missing something.
Some of the ships have a merry-go-round.
Oh, yeah. So if we're talking about the Oasis class series, yep. They have the merry-go-round downstairs, which is kind of fun. You can get on there and ride around.
Well, and then, of course, like all just like your pools and hot tubs are all included. Right. What's really nice, Royal Caribbean has the solarium, which is one of our favorite places to hang out.
Jumping ahead a little bit, but that's fine.
I can't help it. The adult-only area, so that's all included as well, which is very nice.
So we can, that's fine. Let's transition into that. I think we've talked about quite a few of the
included things,
included activities
I
that are more physical.
Can't think
physically. You got to be really moving.
So. Are we talking about shows like later? Maybe?
Shows will be later.
Okay.
So
because I was going to mention about shows, but yeah.
So talking about other things that are included in the adult experience that Royal Caribbean offers. How many other cruise lines offer something similar to this besides Celebrity, which is an adult-only experience at the front of the ship or at the back of the ship or somewhere on the ship?
I mean, Disney sort of has that, but it's not as good.
Right. So I think what makes Royal also have a much better value here when it comes to the adult-only space is that they have the solarium, right? But the solarium is not just a place to go in and relax and lounge and have the pool or the hot tubs. They usually have a bar in there. They have people walking
at least
around.
one.
Yeah, to
Sometimes
get you drinks.
If it's multiple levels, sometimes there's more than one bar.
Right. They also, on some of the ships, then also have the Solarium Bistro, which is also included.
And that's a adult-only little restaurant area. It's normally a buffet for breakfast and lunch. Sometimes it's more of a menu, like sit-down restaurant
I think
for
it
dinner.
varies, though, sometimes.
Yeah, from day to day or whatever.
That it's not always adult-only in the Solarium Bistro?
No, that was only that one cruise because they had rented out the Solarium Bistro.
Okay. All right, then. So then it's always adult-only, which is really nice. A lot of cruises, you won't really find that, I don't think.
Some people just think they don't have to follow the rules on like the other cruises, and they'll just try and bring their kids in there. So
yeah. And then it comes down to a crew member to say something.
Yes.
But, so that's really nice, too. I do really love that. I mean, I know that's been like our favorite place to really hang out with friends when we've done our group cruises on Royal is in the Solarium.
Yeah. Now, you might have been thinking of Symphony of the Seas. Jossie ate with us in the Solarium Bistro, but that was on Embarkation Day. Embarkation Day, almost anybody can go anywhere because you're touring the ship.
Yeah.
That's the only day. Then after sail away, you have to stay in your appropriate aged spaces.
Get out of there, you little devil. Yeah, no, but I mean, it is nice. I mean, as an adult, we, don't have kids. It is nice to just be able to have that space. It's totally separated. And I realized, well, I don't want to go down this road about Disney, but, Disney has made some changes to try and make, I think, that adult-only space kind of similar to the Solarium. But nonetheless, it is a really great value.
Royal Caribbean has the most superior adult-only pool area that we have experienced so far.
Yes. So, okay. So speaking of that as well, they don't really ever have, what I will say is when we're talking about adult-only things, they don't really have any adult-only lounge spaces.
Not really.
That I would say. But that kind of leads us into thinking about entertainment and the type of entertainment that's offered. And this could also be other activities that are not physical activities. Like a big one is trivia that Taylor makes me go to, and I can't ever think properly. So, can never get it right. But trivia, drawing, crafts. But then
karaoke.
But then, karaoke is a big one too. But then, like specific entertainment, right? So Broadway style shows. Those are all included.
They'll have like musical guests or musical acts like in the main theater, but then they'll also have them like in some of the lounges throughout the night. In the promenade, I think basically all the Royal Caribbean ships have like a promenade at this point. Some of the older, smaller ones have just like their atrium area.
Right.
What else was the thing? Oh, the piano guy in the elevator.
Yeah.
That's always really fun to watch. And show-wise, I was also going to mention the aqua shows on the bigger ships.
Right. And that's, I was just going to kind of say that while almost every cruise line offers included Broadway-style shows and entertainment, Royal Caribbean seems to offer, I would say, the most unique style of shows and entertainment. Not that they don't offer everything else that everybody else offer, but like, I don't think you really see somebody playing the piano in the elevators on other cruise lines. Obviously, there is really no other cruise line, I think, at the moment that has a aqua show.
Oh, some of the ships have the comedy club, too.
They have a dedicated comedy club space.
Where they'll have a comedian. And you should get a reservation. It's included, but you should get a reservation because the space is small and they only do so many showings of sailing. So... it's fantastic.
And I will say, I mean, that's another flip side to that coin of having everything that is included and not having to pay extra for it. You do have to get a reservation for almost any type of show where you need to go in and sit down. It is highly advisable to do so. You can show up without one. They'll put you in a standby queue. And if there are seats left,
we got lucky and we got in.
We did.
We got some of the last seats.
For that comedian. You remember? And then that lady was like really... she was really sauced.
She had a little too.
She had way too much. The comedian was great. He did that. He handled it very well. But yeah, I mean, I think that's what's really great is that when it comes to variety and thinking about that value is that they offer you more than just sitting down in the main theater and watching a Broadway style show or listening to a comedian in that theater space. I think having those multiple venues allows them to have a little bit more to offer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the Aqua shows are always really good too.
Yeah, they are. They're really cool.
A lot.
I think sometimes too they even do like a little like behind the scenes type of thing during the day sometimes that you can go to and check out, which is kind of cool. I noticed the one time that we were walking the deck on the Oasis class ships, you can actually walk down behind the Aqua Theater and we could see them like training and doing whatever they're doing. So that was cool. What else? Anything else?
Ship wise? I mean, I'm sure there's other things that we're missing, but like these are, I think we've got most of the main things that are.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing too is like family stuff. They have kids clubs. It is, I will concede that they're probably not the greatest compared to some other cruise lines as far as what they go for. But I don't have any kids. We don't.
There's
have kids.
only one cruise line that has the best kids clubs at sea, and I mean that's just it is what it is.
Right. But I mean, they are there for you to be able to utilize. You can still send your kids there and go have a specialty night.
Yeah, have your dinner or whatever.
Whatever. Yeah. So, anything else that you can think of?
You don't have anything else to add?
I'm asking you first.
In the value?
I'm asking you first.
Well, I was thinking about like Caribbean and Bahamian cruises.
Okay.
That a great value is that perfect day at CocoCay is included.
Oh, that is a pretty good value.
Yeah.
So
because it is an excellent private island.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. There's some things that you got to pay extra for.
Yeah.
But it's fantastic.
We've been talking about first-time cruises here on a few of the podcasts recent weeks. And if you haven't done Royal Caribbean before, maybe you're not super new to cruising, maybe in the Bahamas or in the Caribbean, you've done maybe Alaska and haven't made your way over.
Yeah.
Most of the major cruise lines have a private island.
Yes.
But the one thing that really separates them all are the activities on the islands themselves. And Royal seems to really have, I think probably one of the best ones.
Yeah. I mean, we really like it anyway.
Nothing to add?
No. Well,
you don't have to pay for an extra, So the most recent time that we just did was the Cabanas, which was great. You had to pay extra for that. But by no means do you need to get something like that and splurge to have a really great time on CocoCay. They put sometimes 2 Oasis class ships in there side by side. We've been there when that's happened, and I still can find a chair to sit in.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it might not be the exact location that you want to be in.
Yes, but there's still going to be a chair somewhere.
Right.
Yeah,
they're definitely there.
They've got beach access, which you don't have to pay extra to have beach access. If you bring your own snorkel gear, you can go snorkeling, or if you just want to swim, you can go out in the ocean and swim. They do have multiple kid play areas. There's a pirate ship, as soon as you get out onto the island, and it's a splash area that they can just go and play in. There's also a little, almost lagoon area where the water from the ocean comes in, and there's a little beach there as well. Josh got to go check the cameras. Did it shut off?
It did, but you're fine. Continue.
Of course it did. My favorite thing actually on Perfect Day at CocoCay. Perfect day. They have the Oasis Lagoon, which it's not adult only. It is family friendly. But the Oasis Lagoon is a freshwater pool on the island, and it is humongous. And there's a swim up bar in there that you can get to. You can also get to the bar from the outside of the pool area. But there's a ton of chairs around there that you can hang out in. I think there's also another little splash zone area near that as well. You can also go down to South Beach, which is seems like calmer water that you can swim out in, and another beachy area.
Yeah.
Like we said, there are multiple things that you can pay for to have a little extra experience while you're there. They have a water park with a bunch of water slides. Yeah. I wish they still did the half-day pass, because I would do that if they had it. Because I did like the slides, but we didn't need to stay over there for a full day.
Right.
I'm trying to think what else. Oh, they've got like day beds and cabanas that you can get extra on different parts of the island.
Right.
There is an adult only area that you can add extra.
Well, and I think the other thing too is like
but-
when we say value, again, that's kind of why I mentioned that like it's not necessarily always just about the price that you pay,
Yeah.
or of what's necessarily like free, but sometimes that value is in paying for
the extra
things,
amenities that they have,
right? That
because,
you can pay for.
Let me just say, on some other cruise lines, unless you are the top tier cruiser, you are not going to get a cabana on the private island.
Right.
Not happening. Not happening. Where on Royal Caribbean, we waited months and months and months and booked that cabana and were able to get it.
Right.
And so there was still availability, I'm pretty sure, on the day of, and there was another ship import the day we were there. So,
and the thing too, I mean, like that value there too is that they brought the food right to us. We didn't have to go, we didn't have to go somewhere else.
We had steak and lobster for lunch and
drinks.
Like, it was fantastic.
So, yeah. And speaking of just with CocoCay, the really great thing about Royal 2 now beginning to add more value to their sailings is that they're making more perfect day locations around the world for their sailings. So that's really cool.
They've got a resort thing. Actually, I think it costs extra, but they're making a resort thing in the Bahamas.
It is. Yeah, it is actually.
There is going to be one, I think, over in like Mexico. And then there's like a few other locations. I don't remember for sure, so I don't want to say names and I don't want to say the wrong thing. But there's other ones that are going to be coming as well. The other really nice thing about Perfect Day CocoCay, if you don't want to pay extra for the amenities, you just want to get off the ship, sit in a beach chair, read a book, drink your drink, whatever. Your drink package that you purchased for your cruise crosses over to the island, which is, I think, a great value because there are some private islands or private beaches, if you will, that other cruise lines go to, and your drink package does not transfer over, or they might not have a drink package at all, so you have to pay extra for that. So it's really nice that your drink package crosses over. Sometimes they've got like specialty cocktails that they're making for the day just out on the island, depending what they've got in supply. And then food. Food is included on the island at many, many locations. The crispy chicken sandwich and the mozzarella sticks are all you need. You got to go to, is it called like the Snack Shack or something?
I think that's what it is.
I think it's the Snack Shack.
Yeah.
There was literally a line for the Snack Shack before it opened the last time. It went super fast, but like people knew like, I got to go to the Snack Shack. And I think there's multiple locations for it as well, but like so good. You can get as many chicken sandwiches as you want. I remember that. I'll never forget that time. We were all starving on, I think it was Oasis of the Seas. And Tyler went and got as many crispy chicken sandwiches as he could. And it had all kinds of toppings on it. And we all just scarfed them down because we were so hungry.
Yeah, I mean, it's I think kind of just wrapping up and thinking about the value that Royal Caribbean offers is obviously very comparable to like going to the beach and staying at a hotel or doing something else like that, maybe in a Airbnb or something. But, remember that when you do something like that, you're responsible for cleaning and cooking and, all of these other things. Finding your own entertainment. How do you entertain yourself? How do you entertain if you have kids?
Yes. You got to pay for everybody to go out and play mini golf.
Right. And it's really nice to have that type of, hotel destination or resort, basically, instead of one location, sailing throughout the ocean and takes you to different places. So it's really just thinking like,
what do you want out of your cruise vacation? And what type of things do you want to make sure that you can do during your cruise?
Right.
Are you looking more for the destinations and don't really care about the ship? Then maybe that doesn't matter so much.
Right.
But if you're looking to go on like a Caribbean or a Bahamian cruise and you just want to spend time on the ship, chilling by the pool and having a cocktail.
Yeah.
It might be a pretty good place to do that.
Yep. Royal's a great option. They do sail all over the world.
Yes, all over. They've done world cruises.
Yeah, I think they've hit all 7 continents. Except, no, not all 7, sorry. I don't think that they've hit Antarctica yet. But,
I don't think
but they have done all 6. So
might want to check on that.
There is an itinerary out there for you if you're interested in doing something. That is something that's not just Alaska or the Caribbean. If you want to hit South America or Europe or Australia, something like that, Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
They have a lot of different itineraries to offer, and they're a great value, in my opinion, for the price that you're going to pay for all of the amenities. And even if you're going to spend a little extra on some of those packages, they offer a lot for you. So anything else to add?
No, but this, just real quick. No, but yes, I do actually.
Nope, I don't have anything else to offer. Anyways,
continue talking.
Hold on.
No, I was just going to say, kind of going back into our first time cruiser series, it's just something that like, this is another reason why you plan further in advance if you can, because then you can see if there are things that you want to add on that aren't included in your cruise fare, you can, justify adding those things because you've planned this far enough in advance that, you can have it paid for before you cruise.
Yeah. Well, I don't have anything else.
I think that's it.
Cool. So
I won't add anything else.
All right. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, whatever, you can always shoot us an email, leave a comment down below. And if you'd be interested in working one-on-one with Taylor and planning your next cruise vacation, you can shoot her an email, taylor@goldgellgetaways.com, or you can head on over to goldgellgetaways.com and start planning your next cruise vacation today.
Or any other vacation anywhere in the world.
That's right. So with that being said, my name is Josh.
And my name is Taylor.
We'll see you in the next one.